I believe, let me just double check to make sure that we should be online. Stefania, do you want to just check this out to see if this is online? Because I don't see us, but
Let me check.
join. It just says no, but here we are supposed to be live.
Let me see if I can see it on. It should be on LinkedIn, right? Yes.
Yeah, on LinkedIn. Yes. It says it's starting soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it. I see starting soon.
Yeah. Let me just see what's. I really don't know why this is like doing this. Wait, let me see where if I can if we're online. Let me just see it if we're online on the platform.
Maybe it's only because it was on. No, it was written 11:45.
No, but it's just good like this. Let me just send a message to Massa because she was the one who helped me out set it up. Let me just write her online with Stefania. Can you please check the event if we're live? Because it looks like we are not. Okay. We are just live on Riverside. Okay. Let's see. She's going to just get back to us, hopefully.
We are
Because
live.
we are live?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm going to just delete these parts later on. That's totally good. I'm so excited about this. So, Stefania, looks like this Riverside platform is working and we're live.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the human mode conversation. To all our participants who want to join, welcome. So, Stefania, I always share the why behind the human mode. I think that it's important we just start with like, why am I just having these conversations? The reason is that I'm talking to many leaders and many teams, and I feel that they are uncertain, they're overwhelmed, especially for leaders. They need to perform in an old system. At the same time, we need to transform. They don't know where to start. So for me was this idea that if I can talk to diverse leaders, meaning tech founders, futurists, academics, organizational thinkers, then we can just hopefully bring some insights to help leaders shift mindset. That's the first thing. And also maybe take some practical actions in order to get ready. We're talking about this future readiness all the time.
Yeah.
So this is my like contribution. And obviously for my side, I always come with a specific angle, but I found that it's very important that we actually have different angles and different visions. So that being said, I'm so happy to talking to you. I would consider you an academic. You've done your PhD and your postdoc in technology. You are like working in the field of AI. And at the same time, you're also your role as an AI ethic expert at UNESCO. I think it also gives you this broader vision about how we're going to integrate AI in our everyday life. So, with that, I want to start the conversation about that future readiness. Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about it, especially in the workplace. But from the cultural perspective, from our systems, how we work together, how does that future readiness look like? What should we do? What are we missing?
So, first of all, I think it's very hard to define how we should be ready. I think it's a work in progress, and it will stay in this way. It has always been this way with technology. Probably it's more on how we are not afraid to investigate technology, but also stay curious about technology. For sure, right now we see that, at least from my point of view, what I see is that there is a lot of enthusiasm, which is great. There is a lot of exploration.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have two different kind of people that are very scared because they don't know what will happen next, what will be of their life, what will be of their jobs. There are people that maybe are too much enthusiasm. This meaning that they think they can do anything with AI, and they forget about what happened in the past, how they can reuse some tools.
Yes.
So I think we are just trying to, first of all, absorb the hype that has been created with
Mhm.
AI. Uh, I think that in the next 1 to 2 years, this hype will be gone, and we will start to look at AI, how what we can do, what especially we cannot do,
Yes.
and what is our place with AI as
Mhm.
a user, as a people in control.
I love this approach and your vision for the next few years, because definitely there are some people that are super excited about this, and there's some people that are very concerned about this. But what I love that you point out a few words, like the idea of curiosity and exploration. Like, do you think that this could be like one of those um, mindset shifts, or some of those like approaches that leaders within the systems and with teams can also embrace, to be more curious, to be not to fail, to fail but not to be afraid of it? Like, just elaborate a bit more on this.
Yeah. So I think it's like when we were babies and someone will bring to us something that is totally new. For sure, since we don't know how to use it, there is
Hmm.
that part where we are scared. But we need always to make sure that we are also curious, but like being objective. This means that we can use AI in a way that we can explore new stuff. We can try to challenge the limitation. We can try also to see. Just yesterday, I was discussing with another person. Maybe we can try also to play with AI and see, using the data that is behind AI, how our, for example, profile or how we are seen using the vision of other people. We need always to take into consideration that AI is not a person, it's just a series of data points that have been together. And then we have some sort of pattern that is revealed to us.
Hmm.
So we should be curious in that way, but at the same time, we should always have a look to what has been before AI. So how we can bring our knowledge, our maybe there is something that we have not been able to do. Can we now do it with AI? Can
Hmm.
we also have support from humans to build something that before was not possible?
Hmm. So, Stefania, this is actually a very interesting point, because I was just reading a post, a LinkedIn post from a colleague of mine who's a lawyer. and who works also like in HR, and she was just discussing that ChatGPT is not going to be your lawyer. Like, we still, at the end of the day, need our judgments. We still need our analytical thinking.
Yeah.
So, how can we create like cultures? Because, you're discussing about us humans and machines. How can we create dynamics or cultures where not only we value what's being generated by AI, but also we value the judgment of human beings,
Yeah.
somehow evaluating that work, AI generated work?
Yeah, and that's exactly when I say stay curious is extremely important, because at some point, when you are objective and when you are curious, you will understand that there are some limits. That there is a
Mhm.
lot of hype, but there are some limitation. And that's where you will reevaluate the fact that humans are important. That, for example, some roles cannot be replaced, because we really need that human
Mhm.
that will do what is able to do. Again, AI is just a tool, is something that can help us during the day to day, but cannot replace us as humans
Mhm.
and also as professionals. So
Okay.
one thing that I will say is it's important to play in a safe way with these tools, already to understand the limits, but also it is important to have people in the organization that can help other people to make sure that they have the basic knowledge about what is exactly AI. One thing that I'm really worried about is that I see sometimes a sort of disconnection where people start to see AI as a sort of person. And
Mhm.
so they think that the reply that they get is 100% accurate. They don't double
Mhm.
check. Sometimes I see also that they say, I'm busy, so I will use AI to I don't know, to create a summary or what
Yeah.
else. And then they don't double check and they trust automatically what is done. And that's are the things that in our culture, in our jobs, we need really to challenge. It's like, okay, you have a tool, but you are still in control. You are the one who has eyes, and
Mhm.
who has also the responsibility for
Mhm.
whatever you are doing with the eye. And that's the other important thing. We should see AI as a tool, but also we should not neglect the fact that we are responsible with
Got it.
what we
We
do with
cannot
the eye.
fully rely on it, basically. We cannot
Exactly.
100% rely on it. But Stefania, you're bringing something very interesting, and it's a concept of trust. You know, we're working in teams and in leaderships that so many times we don't have that trust. So
Mhm.
for me, there's a challenge when we say trust. There's a challenge in building that trust for people to integrate AI. You mentioned something very important, that people have to experience AI or learn AI or integrate it in a safe environment.
Mhm.
Because it is you need to know what's good, what's not. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have a hard time integrating. You have to be able to discuss what's working and what's not working. And then once you integrate it, you have to feel safe
Yeah.
to share your judgments or evaluate something that is being created by it. But we don't have that trust necessarily amongst us as like humans. So my concern is that, does adding a tool like AI will complicate things, or will it really invite us to look at the concept of trust and psychological safety and working together a bit differently? Like, what is your take on that?
That's very complex.
That's a very complex question. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I just wanted to brainstorm on it with
So
you.
I think it's true. Sometimes we don't even trust ourselves as humans. So it's very hard sometimes also to bring new tools that we are not 100% in control. So I would say,
Mhm.
first of all, We should always have someone in our workplace or where we want to use those tools that know at least how they work. And
Mhm.
again, when I say we are not replaceable, we need those data person, those data people that can help us understand what is going on and at least warn us what can happen. Even if
Mhm.
we don't trust them as humans,
Yes.
at least we have a warning, and we have it's like a sort of I will say like parents. Okay, they said to us that there was something that we should not do. You want to do it because maybe you don't trust that person. Okay, at least you will have again that person to help us when
Yes.
everything is going totally in
In the
out of
wrong
control.
direction. Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is also true that um, I think it's a human thing that we need also to learn by doing mistakes. And I think it is already happening. I see a lot of companies, especially startup, that are using AI 100% for everything. Even if you try to say, okay, you should avoid doing that, they will
Yeah.
do it in a way. They will fail and they will learn. I think this is something that will happen in any case. From there, they will understand that it is better to trust a person and
Yes.
not only a
And
tool.
not the machine. Yes.
Yeah.
Not the machine. So then, you're working with many teams and like different teams, technological companies like biotech. What are some of the challenges that leaders are facing for transforming, these transformation and these transition time, but also for what's coming
Yeah.
in the next phase in the future of work? Like, what are some of the things that you're hearing all the time?
So I think there are different challenges that are that I see many times into different industries and also different type of enterprise. So first of all, there is I will say that, however, there is a sort of we are under pressure to use AI. So there is this sort
Mhm.
of should we use it? Are we not using enough? And so on. So this is the first challenge: understanding why they should use AI and how. That's the first thing. The pressure comes at different level. It can come from the market, so they want to be the one that they are super
On top of the
technological.
market, yes.
But it can be also inside the company. People that are overusing tools, maybe because they don't have like some processes, some firewalls that will allow user not to use some tools. So they feel the pressure to find a position.
Yes.
This is one biggest challenge that I see. And again, it's a work in progress. They are trying to see. They are trying. Most of the time, they do some tests. I see that luckily there are also some leaders that they will listen to the other employees. So why you want to use that tool? And they try to exchange. Okay, we can
Mhm.
use this because it's not a problem for a company, and we can give it to you this so that you can be supported
Mhm.
in any case. And this is something that I really, really, really say we should do it more and more. It's an exchange and communication. It's always the same. Like we are all going to the same direction. It's only
Yes.
two different point of view.
Yes.
The other challenge is the safety. For now, we are observing that there are a lot of initiatives. There are not a lot of laws about AI, so it's very hard to find
Mhm.
how we should proceed.
Mhm.
So one thing that I usually suggest is, and that I do myself, is let's try always to be logical in what we do. If you are handling data that is sensitive, you will need different procedures that will help you to make sure that at
Mhm.
least you can say, I did my best to avoid
Yes.
anything that can happen.
Yeah.
Um, there are some ICO certification that are starting to be out there. It's still a work in progress, but that will be something that can help. And then there is everything that is related more on the responsible and ethical AI. So how far we can use this AI for which case, and how we
Mhm.
should, especially if we have a communication with clients, what we should declare to clients, what are the, we can say the power of the client with their data, and how we are using their data, how we are saving the data, and so on. So I think these are the two big things that I see in a
Yes,
way.
definitely. It's a very
Yeah.
big challenge. It's a very big challenge, but you're constantly coming back to the role of human beings, their judgments. Like, how do you see humans in the next era of work? Like, how our work and responsibilities will change, and also how the way we work together, you think that will evolve?
Yeah. So I will do like a premise first. First of all, I think it was. I will say right now it has been almost 15 years ago. I said one thing when there was not this hype for AI. I said that AI is a tool, as a tool is not bad, is not good. Is the human behind that will make it bad or good. So
Hmm.
why I say that? Because there is this fear that we will all disappear in the future. Humanity or like workers, they disappear
Yeah,
because there
professionals.
will
Yeah.
be AI. I cannot say, unfortunately, that this will not be true 100% because, again, humans can behave in a good way or in a bad way. There will
Hmm.
be people for sure that will try maximize their how can I say optimize their revenue by using only AI. At some point, some things will be good. It will be successful. Some will not be. And
Hmm.
again, there will be space for learning. There will be also space for people to say that they disagree, and that will be the era of AI where everything will change and we will
Hmm.
be back 100% in control. So in the next future, I think what will happen is that people will not be replaced in most of the case, but they will need, especially to, right now people are most of the time are users of chatbot. They have
Yes.
fun with those, and that's it. They will start to see those not only as a fun part or something that they can use when they feel busy, but more as a tool, a serious tool that again has some responsibility behind, that they need to integrate in their daily life. It might be at work, it might be in their personal life too. So I think in the next future, what we will see will be people that have as a skill to use basically those tools. And then we will have different level of proficiency of those skills. And also their work will be associated with those skills. It's like using Word today or any other type
Yes.
of tool.
Yes.
Like
Okay. Go
it's
ahead.
something that you will use. It's not even a skill. We can say it's something
You
that
will
usually
use.
you know.
Okay. You will use, but how much fluency you have around it, or how much skill you
Exactly.
have
Are you
around
able to do
it.
macros, for example?
Got it.
There will be people able to, there will be people not able to, but they at least know how to use the tool. That will be
Okay.
the future with AI.
Okay. Okay. So that technological fluency will be the key, basically, for all of us. And to your point, it could be using Excel sheets. Some of us would just be entering numbers. Some of us would really like do amazing stuff, and that will somehow change our responsibility and ownership in projects.
Yeah.
What about human skills? We're talking about the intentions of humans behind the work, But there is also for me this, when I'm thinking about it, this idea that in the workplaces, marginalized people, people whose their language is not necessarily like the first language is not the language in the meetings, women, like any kind of minorities, we see that they have a harder time contributing.
Mhm.
So, how can we, like, what would be the culture infrastructure to make sure that, like, we can untap these human potentials and that everyone can contribute? Like, where do you see that?
I think that there should be, and I think it's something we can do already today. There should be initiatives also in the workplace where we can use AI in a very positive way. And when I say that, is
Mhm.
basically, for example, you mentioned there are maybe people in the meeting and they are not, their native language is not the one of the meeting. Maybe as a company, I will offer for sure classes, language classes, but also tools with AI that
Yes.
can help them understand in real time what is happening so that they can be part
Mhm.
of the conversation.
Conversation. Got it.
They can also understand if they have a doubt, they can ask right away, did I understand correctly? Yes or
Yes.
not? And these are the
Mhm.
reason why you understood or you didn't understand. So this is one thing. And the other thing is, since we are going to use more and more AI, and we know that AI has been trained with data that is not perfect, I will expect in the near future that workplace will have a sort of we can say office, a sort of department where people, when they feel that there is something that is not working for them, they are not feeling representing, they can say, okay, this is what happened, and I would like to do something so that other people will not feel like I feel right now. And that there will be a protocol to follow to measure what is happening and what they can do next.
And
And
this
that,
is in relationship with the AI partners, basically.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. That's very insightful. That, but I mean, do you see that we have the capacity for that now within our systems? Because this is amazing. Like, just challenging, constantly having a
Yeah.
department that challenge the AI generated work or anything with the AI partners. Like that accountability is awesome. But my question is that
Is it
is
possible really to
it
do it?
possible? And also, what is going to be a winner scenario or a winner case for leadership to invest in such an department or in such an office? Because, again, I'm constantly talking about this because, we're coming from a culture background, team dynamic, leadership development. And we see that unfortunately, these are not prioritized topics. So for me, the challenge is constantly is that how can we make this shift, a mindset shift, so that the actions that, the amazing action and a practice that you're now sharing will be a common thing to do.
So again, it's very complex
Yes.
because it involves, I will say, as a person, it will involve a different level. So first of
Mhm.
all, as a if we think about as a simple personal user, we should
Yes.
start the like challenging right now things that we don't like,
Hmm.
or we should at least make sure that we have enough information about what is happening with AI and what we should really look at when we use AI. So this means also that there is a political part. As a
Yes.
citizen, we should make sure that we have some organization that will help us, first of all, to make sure that we are informed.
Yes.
Second, that we can have training on that. And third, at some point, like right now we don't have the bandwidth, but we had the bandwidth to start using AI. So
Yes.
bandwidth sometimes is something that we can, however, modify things.
Yes.
But if we are obliged by law to be
Hmm.
compliant, at that point we will have the bandwidth.
Okay.
So, and this
Mhm.
is so another level.
Another
In a,
level of it.
yeah,
Yes.
in a company, so I will say, I don't want to feel people sad about, like, it's very hard because we are using AI most of the time to, because we are busy and we want to have more time to do other stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes I find it as an excuse because before I was not there and we were able to run companies in any case.
Yes.
I can understand that it is, however, something that is easy to use and it can really help. There will be people inside the company that will be worried about AI. So maybe it's on, unfortunately, on their shoulders to make sure that they can start a discussion with the leadership.
Okay.
Sometimes I see also leaders that are against some AI tools used by, or that the company want to use, and
Yes.
they're the first to say, okay, I want to discuss more. So if you are a leader, you have that power. You are
Yes.
the protagonist of the story.
Yes.
And I saw leaders fighting Copilot because they were like, yeah, but I don't understand how it works. I don't understand if in some case Teams is recording my meetings, where the data go.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
that's perfect. Like it's like the
yes.
kind of discussion
That
the
you
is
want to
easy
have.
to do, to start.
Yes.
Yes. So I will say it's a complex matter because it comes from different levels, and
Mhm.
it's something that is
Exactly.
doable. It requires efforts. We need to understand that not everybody will be interested. They prefer
Yes.
to
Got
be
it.
comfortable
Okay.
than to do things in a way that is maybe a little slow but
Yes.
safer.
Okay. I love this conversation, Stefania. Thank you so much for bringing this everything up. If I want to sum it up, like I would say that some of the things that we discussed is that, first of all, that sense of curiosity and exploration and opportunity to fail and make mistakes. So
Yeah.
I see that, obviously, of that environment of safety, psychological safety, environment of risk taking, so that people can go through the transition of integrating AI, understanding what AI is, and making a progress in that. The second point that for me I find it very insightful is that, like, because we also had another guest that said that not all the problems will be solved with technology and AI. Like, we really need to focus on what we're trying to solve, what we're trying to achieve, what is the goal, and if AI will fit in that. But
Yeah.
again, to your point, this might be just a hype that might go away a bit with time, and we're just going to balance it out a bit. But the third point that you're saying is that once we do have AI partners, which is that, future work, like post transition, is how can we constantly creating systems of self correction, of like judgment, analysis, so that we can constantly upgrade what we are creating and
Yeah.
somehow evaluating
Yeah.
what AI is generating. And I love the fact that you're saying around constant conversations. That was one of the goals, because I've realized that some leaders, they're jumping in and just jumping in action. And some leaders are more like trying to maybe deny it or put it
Mm-hmm.
aside. So I love your recommendation that having the conversation, this dedicating time to discuss what are the concerns, what are the excitements, what are the protocols within that small systems.
Yeah.
And to your point, with AI moving forward in societies, there will be regulations, there will be things that we're going to be working with in our workplaces. But till then, I think that for teams and leaders, having those conversations would be key to make sure that they're using the best out of these tools.
Yeah, and we should not underestimate what we can do as a like people of every day. Like if you have a neighbor that is using a tool, try to
Yeah.
understand why they're using, and try also to tell
Mhm.
them what are the consequences too, because they
Okay.
might not know, and that's how we can help.
Yes. Okay. So just creating this conversation on our
Yeah,
everyday life. You
yeah.
know, I love it. I want to finish it with the rapid questions, but I have to say that this is already a much more optimistic approach. Like, I think that I mean, to your point, we're not necessarily in control of it, but if we, by education and constant conversation and communication, we can at least integrate it more ethically and more productively into our lives. So, that being said, I want to ask you about a question that we already answered, but it's 2035. Okay, and we are looking at the office. How does a team look like in 2035? How has it changed from now in 2025? Like, what is your take on that 10 years?
So I hope that we will be free of any administrative stuff, anything that is really, really boring. So that, for
Okay.
example, I don't know, instead of be multitasking and talking to you and taking notes, there will be something that is really reliable. They will
Yes,
take notes for me, and I will be listening and asking questions. First of all, this is the
love that.
first thing that
Love
I
that.
hope we will have, and that the information that is discussed in the room will be then discussed also outside the room, because it will be easier to
To have
convey
access
the
to it. Yeah,
information.
got it.
Then I hope that there will be less stress, because forecasting system will work better. And when I said forecasting is not only for the money part, but for anything, also for the burnout of employees. So we
Yeah,
will have a system that can really cuddle those employees and make
yeah.
sure that they feel at ease. Um, and probably this is a very big hope that I have, since we will be maybe more free. We will also be able to be more curious about what the others are doing.
Yeah.
Maybe we will have less separation among departments, among specialties,
Mhm.
and a sort of collaboration, because we
I
will
love
have more
that.
time
Less
to
silo
discuss.
working, basically.
Yeah,
I love this. So, so you think that the time that's going to free up, we're going to be maybe able to be more human in
I
unless
hope. This is why I started to do AI. So
yeah,
that's my big
that's
hope.
that's your why. Awesome. So let's do some rapid questions. Okay,
Yeah.
and first of all, Stefania, this was amazing. Like, I'm sure that everyone listening will gain a lot from this conversation. Will have lots of ideas, but the most important thing is that they're going to have a right mindset about like AI and what's happening. So, the rapid fire questions. They're
Yes.
insightful but also fun. AI in the workplace, do you think it's more exciting, confusing, or concerning now in 2025?
Exciting.
Exciting. Love that. What's more important, you think, in a future leader? Emotional intelligence or technical fluency?
Emotional intelligence, 100%.
Really? You think so? Because we did discuss also about this emotion, like, about this fluency and the hard part, but you still think that that emotional intelligence is what makes, and why do you say that?
Because to work, you need to work with people, and you need to understand them, and you need to be part of a community. So you really need to understand emotion and what is around people, even before machines.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that. So I think you already answered this question, but what is one job in organizations today that won't likely exist in 10 years?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
One
I didn't.
job, one
Yeah.
job you think today in organizations today that it won't exist in 10 years.
Uh, One job. It's very hard to say that. Probably anything that is related only to very, very repetitive tasks, because we will
Yes.
be able to transform it with AI and to give to people the creativity that they deserve.
Awesome. I love it. I love that. And who makes a better small talk? You think humans or AI?
Humans versus AI, who wins?
Yeah, in a
Humans,
small talk.
100%. Always, always humans.
Always
Always.
humans. I love that. And one human skill you hope machines will never replace.
One human skill that will never replace. I hope, really hope, empathy.
Hmm. I love it.
Even the one that we perceive that is not true.
This actually, Stefania, thank you so much. This is like you're the second guest that talk about, that you're this much expert in technology and you're this much immersed in technology with like, higher education degree, but you have a very human approach to the world of
Yeah.
technology. I think this is extremely refreshing. So thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
sharing
Thank
that,
you for this
for
opportunity.
sharing this vision with us. And Stefania, where can people find you?
LinkedIn is the best place, and I
Okay,
will be more than
LinkedIn.
happy to reply to questions or just a message.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this conversation. And thanks a lot for bringing your vision to life.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Stefania. Have a good day. Bye.